Hey everybody, I'm the company's expert and welcome to my video on the management function. We're going to talk about the management function and how it relates to running a business, whether the business is very small, like a side hustle, or it's very large, like a multi-million-dollar multinational corporation. And I have done both. So we're going to cover what is the management function, we're going to talk about its pros and cons, and then we're going to talk about the pros and cons of the people that specialize in the management function and what are their pros and cons from a general perspective. Okay, so let's dive in. What is the management function? Well, this is an area of business that deals with how to manage. And usually it's the first course in any kind of business program. This introduces everybody to the basics of management science. And the first thing you learn is that there are 4 management functions, and those are planning, organizing, influencing, and controlling. Okay? And the study of this involves going deep into each of those 4 functions. You learn that any role that requires any kind of management, okay, whether you're managing a small team or a project or an entire organization, you have to engage in doing those 4 functions. Okay? Every management role is a combination of those 4 functions, but you will never see a role where you eliminate any one of them. They are always present. Okay? So that's basically what this is. Now, what can it do? What are its pros and cons? Well, generally speaking, if you learn this material, okay, you learn how to manage. If they put you in charge of a project or a team or an organization, you will be able to make progress. You will be able to achieve meaningful goals, and you'll be able to run things smoothly, and you'll be able to go on to achieve great things. It's this learning and this way of thinking using a lot of these techniques that will enable you to do that. So that is its value, and it is incredibly valuable. Now, in terms of cons, okay, the cons of this area of study, a big one is that it's widely regarded that you will get the most from this material if you have 10 years of practical work experience under your belt before you learn it. Okay? What we have seen in the past is, and this has been shown time and time again, is that if people at a young age, they kind of stay in school and they learn a lot of this material without having any real world practical experience working in organizations and with organizations, this material will not really be able to result in you achieving your full potential. Okay? That's why when they introduce you to a lot of the concepts and a lot of the ideas, that it helps having a practical reference point, having an intuitive understanding of the things that they're talking about, okay, having worked in the real world. So that will greatly enhance this knowledge. And if you don't have that, it might seem like just a bunch of theory that doesn't really mean too much to you. Okay, so that would be a con of this area of study. The expectation is that you have practical work experience, or this stuff isn't quite as valuable when they teach it to you. Okay, now let's talk about the people who specialize in the management function and the people that are trained in this. Well, generally speaking, in my experience, these people have been highly capable, okay? When you learn this stuff, it will enhance your performance. And this applies no matter what job you have within an organization. If you're an executive, if you're a middle manager, if you're a supervisor, and if you're a line worker, it will enhance your capabilities, okay? You may be familiar with the idea that, or the expression, that someone has been promoted above their ability. Hopefully you've heard of that. Well, this is the cure. If you train your employees and people learn this material, they will never be promoted above their ability, okay? They will always understand what to do no matter what level they are. And the rest is just simply experience and refining your, the tactics of how you do that. Okay, so that's one thing about people who specialize in this. Okay, if you don't have this, you tend to run things generally in a very disorganized way. You tend to only do what you've seen people do before, and you can't really think beyond that. and you don't know what's possible or what's normal, this is the cure for that. That's in the pros category. Now, people that have this, there are a couple of cons that I have seen. And the biggest one that I would say is that, like I mentioned, this is kind of the first step in learning management. Okay, when you study business, this is kind of the first thing you learn. And as a result, because it's the first chapter of that book, okay, it's the first step in that process, depending on the role in which you find yourself, you may not be equipped to solve every challenge with just this material. You may have to go deeper into certain areas, and that would require further study and more knowledge of certain areas that you don't get in a general course like this or a general study like this, okay? So that's what I'll say about it. It's a good thing, but the buck doesn't stop with this. Just having this doesn't mean that you can automatically solve any challenge that you're faced with. You may need to go deeper. So that's where I'm going to leave us for today. So very, very useful thing. If you're looking for something to train your employees in that will enhance their capabilities no matter what level they're at, this would be a prime candidate, in my opinion. Okay, you can train employees to add a lot of value when they know this stuff. So thank you very much for listening. You guys are awesome for listening this long, and I hope you will join me on the other videos in this series where I cover every major area of business and how it relates to running a business. Thank you very much. Don't forget to subscribe, and hopefully I will see you on the next one. Take care.